When I go into the past life, it becomes very intuitive. So tarot doesn't mean tarot in regular meanings anyway. We're going to start here. The past life cards for Laurie. Is that right? Past life for Laurie?
Yes.
Laurie, are you asking what's going on with in regards to somebody else that's currently in your life as well right now? Are you asking for you and perhaps a partner or person? I get that there's two. I get that there's two. I'm reading it as if there's two. There's two. I don't know if this is going to be making any sense. There's two. There's you and someone else involved before I'm even throwing cards down. You want to know. Okay. All right. Fine.
I'm not sure.
This is coming through as you and a parent. There's functioning addict and a guardian. This is something you were like, the role was flipped on you with your parent, and it feels like your parent was the addict. You were the child having to do the role of parent in this particular past life. This is why there's two. You're carrying your parent as if to carry a burden of a child, because they were not capable of doing better at that particular time. They were supposed to be the guardian. They were supposed to be the one in charge. They weren't the one in charge. You were the guardian. You were the sentinel. You were the one creating all the decisions. You were the one early on. The role was flipped. It's not really very fair. You were the one early on guarding, making things, making decisions, making choices. Go to the Akashic. This wasn't your father. This was your mother. You were like your mother and daughter, and the roles were flipped. There was something, we've got the Tailor here, and it does feel very literal in coming in. You were the guardian as the sentinel, but it doesn't feel like you were warrior. The Tailor feels like, yes, you were absolutely taking in extra mending, absolutely mending relationships, doing things of a sort, sewing, putting things up. This is dressmaker energy. I don't know if there's even dressmaker card, but this is dressmaker energy. You understood how to do this. The patterns, the knowledge, the way you lay things out and fit and form things, you understood. This is the closest to how I can see. This is, you had the information. You were the keeper of the information. You knew how to handle this. People would come late at night to where it was that you were, to get things fit, to get more flattering fit, to get things handled. You were something that was, you were knowledgeable in the skill of creating dresses before there was fashion. This comes in before fashion became a thing. But you know how to create and flatter and use the fabrics and use the needle like with such skill. It comes in very, very literally. Now, often it doesn't, but in this case it does. They come knock, come knock, come knock. It's very interesting. People would come to you. Your mom, I wouldn't say she's totally useless in this past life, but she wasn't very present. She taught you some of the things, and she would teach you between drinks, it feels like. Between drinks. Ah, yeah, you need to take that in. See how that curve is on that one? Yeah, she's gotten a little fatter right there. You need to let that out for her. Your mom had this sarcasm, but a great, great eye for how to fit and how to customize a fit for the women who would come. The women who would come and you would advise. It's very interesting. Charting course and setting course. It's a beautiful, beautiful energy is coming through of you doing like this dressmaking seamstress work, but what your real work was like a marriage counselor for many of the women. You would talk to the women, they would come to you, they would get a better fit, they would want a new dress, they would want a new look, whatever. They would come to you. Just like somebody might come to somebody for like herbal potions and things like that, but that wasn't your wheelhouse. Your wheelhouse was fabric. Your wheelhouse was dressmaking, form and fit and all of this. And your mom gave you enough knowledge, and early on you had to refine it for your own survival, and so that you got better and better. But your mom's eye was discerning, and because she was blasted, yeah, because she was a little bit blasted, I don't know how to put, you can't put it polite. she wasn't drunk as a skunk, but she was really buzzed. And because she was drunk, she would say things very clearly. And she would be like in the back room sometimes, or sometimes she'd peek out and, yeah, she's put on this weight. You need to let that dress out. She thinks she's this size. She would tell you these things. And she wouldn't just tell you about the fit. She would tell you she's putting on weight, she's eating again because her husband's two-timing or whatever. She would tell you the gossip and the dirt. You would act as a counselor. Your mom was like the brutal, brutal truth about things. Your mom had had a very, very difficult life, but she passed you the keys. We're getting this interesting knowledge. She can see from this generation back perspective, so she knows more of them. She knows more of the dirt and the hot goss around town. She knows human behavior a little bit better. You're pretty young. This is, I'm getting, you're like doing this from early on, from like the age of 6 or 7. You're starting to learn sewing, mending, doing things, putting together. By the time that you're hitting your 14s, you've taken on your mom's shop. You've taken on the role that she used to do, and her disappointment and her bitterness isn't necessarily directed at you. She's just had her own challenges in life. Yeah, really, really interesting. As cuckoo as it sounds, you're still divinely protected in this lifetime. There's a protection that is over you guys, and this setup that you've got going on, it's like you have your own shop, your own space, your own house in a time when people weren't often blessed with such a thing. I don't know why you have that, but you do. It feels like your father is very, very absent and often away, and I don't think your mother loves that one bit. I think she's like, fuck this. We're getting... the imagery is coming through here on the ship, and I think that he definitely traveled back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It may be why your mom was pissed off about this, and it may also be why she would understand fashions, changes, and fabrics, because she would have access to them. It's like he couldn't have been housebound for anything. He would not have... If your father would have stayed on the land in this shop, being a tailor and working with your mom side by side in that shop, he would have been like dead within a year or two. It would not have suited him. So instead he goes off, but your mom pays the price. That's why she drinks. There's this balance that comes into being here, this balance that comes in, and a gift that comes in. The heart and the knowledge of how to heal the heart comes in for you. You see how this impacts, how one affects the other. You see this, but it does leave you in this role of where you're parenting your mother. You tune into the field, you tune into the subtle energies earlier on because of this. There's no getting around it. It's just, this is how it goes. What else do we need to know? Good grief. There is one that's a hoi polloi. What has the hoi polloi got to do? The hoi polloi. This is a hoi polloi. This is somebody that wants to look very impressive, very, very good, wants to measure up among the men. The hoi polloi is sending her son to you to get fitted, and you don't normally do fittings. You're, rather than doing a wedding dress for a woman, you're doing a suit for a young man so he can be more, is what I'm getting. This is important. The hoi polloi is one of your best benefactors, and so this is something you're willing to do. You don't generally do this, but this is something to do. This is something that really makes a name for you going forward. This person's son is important in the community, important in society, and you make him look more put together than what he comes off. And distinctly, and this is different than in our time period, so understand this, but in his time period, he was effeminate in his time period, and because you did the work you did in his clothing, you made him appear stronger and more masculine. This is helpful to him. This is protection to him. This is something that your mother clues you in on. I think the son is effeminate. I think the son is actually probably gay, and the way you style clothes for him makes him look so sharp, so well-dressed, and so much more masculine that in his time, it's a matter of almost survival for him. People take him more serious, and they allow for his effeminate ways to be dismissed because he looks so sharp dressed. If we had the Will and Grace analogy of the TV show of Will and Grace, you know the character Jack and you know the character Will. You're taking somebody with the Jack nature that is more flamboyant and you're making them more stable and suited more like the character of Will would be. And this was really, really helpful for his survival is what I'm getting. This is huge. This is huge. It's part of why your shop is in this town and why people come to you in this town. Primarily the women come to you. But when the hoity-toity came to you regarding her son, you understood the seriousness of this. This is quite remarkable. The garden, this is something you would have known this person from younger childhood days. You would have known this person. They would have been around. You would have known them. It's like you probably know this person is gay. He knows he's gay, whatever. Society might know he's gay, but they might not be so kind if he was flamboyant. So you get him set in a way that he looks sharp dressed, well-heeled, well put together. You put together a presentation that allows him to be himself, but taken more seriously. This is huge in your world. It's huge. People would not have been as forgiving of gender exploration or identity in that particular town. The town was too small. It's like you did him a solid. The credibility that you brought to him brought honor to him, brought him more level of seriousness in how people took him, and so he took his life path more serious. It didn't change the nature of who he was or his sexuality or his gender, but it gave him credibility. It added value just by in the way that you helped him dress, helped him carry himself in a way that he was taken as equal, not lesser. What else? This is going on. We've got something aside from here going on. Something new coming on. A shift in the energy in a fall, in a season of the fall. I don't know who's in this carriage yet. They're on their way. The road is blocked. Okay, I get that. They're blocked to the house. The path is blocked to the house. What's going on? I'm getting your dad's energy in here. Okay. This is your dad's energy is blocked before he returns home. Your dad's energy is blocked before he returns home. He can't get home in time to you. He can't get home in time. It's a fall energy. He wants to get back to your little shop to where you and your mom do your thing. But he can't get there. He's very, very blocked. He's stuck. Why is he stuck? Messages are coming forward, and the hoity-toity knows the situation regarding your dad. It is like he is perhaps in prison of some sort, been trapped, been caught up in something where it's not that he's even on the road. It feels like he's out of country, unblocked. That's why he's not coming home. The hoi polloi, hoity-toity woman knows how this would affect your mom, knows that this is going to be empty tables for a long time, for like nearly a whole 6-8 months going on. She's trying to get word through various toysters, through people that she knows that are moneyed people that would know or have knowledge, because of course she wants to know where things are. There's something that's gone wrong in his travels, and he is definitely stuck in some sort of institution, some sort of place. The hoi polloi is keeping an eye on this, and she's getting word to your mom regarding your dad. I don't know what he had, but he's had something on whatever vessel that he was on that it's like he had contraband, illegal shit that he shouldn't have had, got caught having this and got stuck. An appointment is set. An appointment is set, a negotiation is being hammered out, and a discussion is hammered out. And something about I'm getting Sweden. I don't know if it's literally Sweden, but I'm getting the energy of Sweden, Denmark, something like that, where this is where he's stuck. The negotiation, there needs to be a forced negotiation, a sacrifice of time. Something different needs to happen. There's a debt that needs paid. Now, there's letters sent, there's banker's notes sent, there's negotiations being hammered out. The fine dressed gent comes. Very interesting. The fine dressed gent that you have over here, this one that was, you helped give the credibility. He now is sending someone to help deal with this situation with your father, to get your father out of pretty much what feels like almost like a debtor's prison situation. I don't know what they would call it, because debtor's prison is harsher than what it is, but he's definitely stuck. And he's definitely stuck in a pinch and in a bind. The credibility of this one's house and the credibility of who he's become, is what gets your father the freedom. Now what happens? The fine-dressed gent. The fine-dressed gent understands bankers, understands banking, understands numbers, understands how to create credibility. There's a parcel of land. There's a parcel of land that is traded. There's something about this that he has the ability to trade a parcel of land for your father's freedom. This is really, really huge. Your mother is surprised by this. Surprised by this. This friend that is the mother of the fine-dressed gent really helped you guys out in a big way. It gets your father back to land for the latter part of his life. And it's not that he loved it, but he had had enough of his adventures. This is what I'm getting. The way you understood the scrolls, the way you worked with the scrolls, the reward in doing such a solid for this person is the reward of getting the return of your father. I don't know that your mom is necessarily any less alcoholic or addicted than before. You've certainly had a difficult childhood and difficult life because of the way your parents did it. But he finally comes back to land for her. This feels like where the story stops. This feels like where your parents have a few years that are good together. The story stops as far as you parenting and having to handle your mom's stuff. They do their thing. I don't know where you go on from here. It's not so much about who you marry or if you have kids or whatever. This is what gets you the freedom and gets you out from under having to parent your mother forever and ever. However, you've made your mark, you've set up the shop, you've taken over the shop, you're quite content with that. And the way that you do the counsel for other people, the way that you see the need in the community, the way that you handle this, you're not giving up that gift at all. However, the reward is there because of the fine-dressed gent. That's what, totally interesting. Totally interesting. It wasn't so much about love and romance, love and romance, love and romance. It was about healing this kind of situation for these people involved. There was many involved in this particular lifetime for you. You did healing work through tailoring. It's really, really odd, but that's what you did. That was what the whole entire thing was about. Your heart was very, very good heart. Your mom was really, really sarcastic and brutal and brutally honest. But when the time came, the heart was more important. And this is what led things back. It's what returned this. You helped complete a cycle here. That's what I've got. That's complete. Wow. That's just wow. Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. And this is the Akashic Tarot and the Citadel cards and the past life cards.